Heroes created by people's imagination live and commit their acts of bravery in our program, The Legend of Kazakhs. Legends are an invaluable cultural heritage passed down from generation to generation. Kazakhstan is rich in unique historical monuments, but the Ulytau mountain chain is the national sacred place for the Kazakh people. This amazing land has absorbed the thousand-year spirit of our ancestors, surrounded by legends that are sung by poets. The magnificent mounds and mausoleums, as well as rock paintings and petroglyphs and other historical monuments, have been found and studied by scientists, and they show that the Ulytau has been the center of the whole steppe since ancient times. The mountain range, visible for many kilometers, stretches from the north to the south for more than 200 kilometers. The high point of the mountains is the peak Ulytau. It is not excluded that the image was reflected in the folk tales and legends as a symbol of the patrimonial mountain, which was the guardian and defender, and the sacred place of the Kazakh people. The Ulytau Mountains are a favorite place for Hans and nomadic tribes. Here was the place of the high command of Joly Khan, the elder son of the Genghis Khan. From here, Han Bati started his aggressive campaign to the east. A lot of legends are told by Aksakals about the Great Mountains, and we will tell you just one of them. Among the red-hot stars, when the universe was only beginning its life, a battle began. This was a battle between the mighty, powerful spirits of good and evil. The infinite war was raging between them, until almost all of them were killed. And there were 3 spirits in the whole universe. 2 were dark and cruel, and 1 was light, inside of which love and compassion of the Most High glowed and flared. The centuries passed one after another, and evil and good confronted each other. The 2 demons, disembodied beings, carried in themselves all the accumulated evil that they received from the fellows in this battle of their brethren. And the light spirit preserved the power of light and love, but he knew that he could die and not save the divine light that the Almighty had given the world. He also knew that if this happens, then the whole universe would plunge into darkness, and there would be no life left in it, a cold, vicious twilight, drowning and engulfing everything. And the spirit of good decided to hide the shrine in the bellows of the earth. But just as the 2 demons did, they hid their dark forces deep underground. The centuries passed one after another, but no one appeared alive on the earth. Only after thousands of years were there spirits of animals and birds that lived in the sky, and they lived in dark caves or deep under the waters of lakes and seas. Once upon a full moon, when the golden moon shone brightly in the sky, the spirit of the bear could not fall asleep. But when a dream overcame him, it was swift and alarming, and it did not feel like a dream, but like a strange vision. He saw in this vision unfamiliar places. One place was very beautiful, a luscious green glade, all strewn with bright colors, and another even more beautiful, a turquoise blue lake like a mirror. It reflected in its waters the trunks of tall, powerful firs and white, soft clouds. The spirit of the bear opened his eyes and thought about the vision for a long time. But as soon as the sun rose and gilded the sky, a feeling seized him, the desire to go. And this desire was so irresistible that he put his amulet around his neck, which he inherited from his ancestors, Arwa, and set on the journey. He walked day and night, never stopping for a minute, and he walked the narrow paths. He climbed high into the mountains and then descended deep into the crevices of the rocks. He passed through deaf caves and dark moats, the fast rivers and marshy swamps. Some incredible power was attracting him, and he didn't know where she was leading him. He crossed the plains, overgrown with tall grass, and saw a branchy tree. He reached to it and collapsed. For many hours he slept under it, and he would have slept further if someone hadn't woken him up. "Glorious Spirit! Glorious Spirit!" He heard someone's crackling voice. Barely opening his eyes, he saw two big yellow eyes. The spirit of the bear shook his head, and finally waking up, he opened his eyes and saw a large owl sitting on a tree branch. "Ah," the spirit of the bear said, yawning. "You are the spirit of the owl. What are you doing here, glorious and wise bird? After all, I know that you live far away beyond the distant and high mountains." "Wow," sniffed the spirit of the owl. "If only I could answer your question. But in fact, I myself do not know what attracts me here to this lonely tree." "Attracted? You said attracted?" The bear was surprised. "Yes, I was attracted. It felt as if the fog dropped over me, and suddenly there was an incredible desire to fly to these places. And so I flew day and night until I was here." "Yes," the spirit of the bear said in surprise. "I've had a vision that brought me here." "It is strange indeed," the owl said. "It is," repeated the bear after her. "Shh, someone is running here," the owl said, seeing in the dark gray point approaching them swiftly. The spirit of the bear fixed his gaze and also saw the intruder. The gray dot grew larger, and you could already see strong legs and a head with protruding ears. "It is the wolf spirit," the owl exclaimed. "He's running straight towards us." After a while, the spirit of the wolf ran up to them. He was breathing heavily from severe fatigue, and the scarlet tongue which fell out of his mouth was all covered in white foam. When the spirit of the wolf recovered a little, he greeted everyone and told his story. "And I heard a voice, and it just stopped when I got to this tree. I wanted to find this place that I saw in my dreams, the beautiful field and the lake of incredible beauty. Yes, yes, phew!" cried the owl spirit and waved his wings. "And I've seen it too," said the spirit of the bear. "I live on this earth longer than you have, and I think it's no accident that we've all seen the same visions. Probably they were inspired by the Arwah, the good spirits of our ancestors. They wanted us to gather here, but what for?" The spirit of the owl and the wolf agreed with the bear and nodded. "But what do we do now?" asked the spirit of the wolf, and he pulled with his ears. "I think," the bear continued, "I think that there will be more visions or other signs. We just have to feel them and understand." "Let's sit around," said the spirit of the wolf, "and we'll put our amulets in the center of the circle and call our ancestors in our thoughts, so we can call them." So the spirits did just that. They sat around in a circle. The spirit of the bear took off and put his guardian, the bear claw, the wolf spirit, and the wolf fang. The spirit of the owl pulled his pen from the wing. And as soon as they folded the amulets, white smoke rose from the ground, fumigating and enveloping them. A quiet hiss came from the smoke, and someone spoke in a thin voice. "You have to go wherever the divine power draws you. You have to take shelter from all the bad forces and hidden deep in the earth's depths. Good and love is the most powerful gift of our Most High. This will make it possible to appear all life on Earth, beasts and birds and man. You must find the right place and not make a mistake. The future of our universe depends on you. But do not wake the evil forces. They will disturb you and confuse you. Dark demons for many millennia are waiting for their time as well. You must be smart and attentive. These amulets will protect you from mistakes. The white smoke suddenly disappeared, just as immediately as it had appeared. As soon as the smoke dissipated, the bear rose and croaked, "Come on!" And they again began to cry the unknown force. The spirits put on their amulets, and without a moment's hesitation, went after the bear. Again they walked, not closing their eyes neither day nor night. They made their way through the overgrown barbed grass, and descended on the dangerous slopes, and passed through arid places, and swam in deep rivers. It seemed that there was no end to this path, when suddenly the spirit of the bear stopped and froze. He twisted his shaggy head, and drew in the wide nostrils of sweet air. "Yes," he growled, "we've come. It's here, very close." They passed a little more and came to this amazingly beautiful glade. Like a multicolored carpet was spread on it, woven from bright and juicy colors. They all stood as if spellbound and could not admire this miracle. "So we found this place," exclaimed the spirit of the wolf. "It's beautiful. Let's sit around and put our amulets together. We will release the free gift of the Most High." The bear spirit was also fascinated by this place, and agreed with the wolf, and wanted to take off his amulet, as the loud cry of the owl stopped them. "Woohoo, hoo, hoo! Have you forgotten the instructions of your ancestors? Did they not warn you to be smart and attentive? After all, we could wake up the evil forces." The spirit of the bear and the wolf clutched at the head and agreed with the wise spirit of the owl. "But how do we know if a place is good or bad?" said the spirit of the wolf, and he pondered. "They said that our amulets will help us," the owl spirit said. "Yes," said the bear, "you're right. If the power brought me here, then my amulet must give us the answer." The bear took a few steps and, looking around, picked up a large stone from the ground. He took off his amulet and held a talon talisman over the smooth surface of the stone. Suddenly the stone cracked and immediately fell into small pieces. The spirit of the bear turned and growled, "There! The stone should not crumble from my claw. This is a ruinous place. It is so beautiful. It's beautiful because it is entangled by evil charms." The spirits began to think about what to do next, but they could not think of anything until the wolf spirit said, "Come on, I'm drawn by an unknown force." The wolf said this and, waving his gray fluffy tail, quickly jerked towards the low, overgrown hills. The owl spirit waved his wings and rose into the air, and the strong bear roared, rushing up to catch the fleeing wolf. A few days passed since the spirits went after the wolf. The sun rose and then again went over the horizon, leaving in its place the yellow moon, until the wolf stopped by a small lake. Silence and peace reigned over them. And such bliss and calm embraced everyone, so that it was suddenly so pleasant and good that they just wanted to sit and admire how the sun's rays bathed the clear, clean crystal waters of the lake. "Here," exclaimed the spirit of the wolf, "in this place is our gift of the eternal sky." "Ah," breathed the spirit of the bear, "at last we've found what we are looking for. Let's sit around and get out the light of good and love." The owl spirit slammed his wings again and angrily screamed, "How? Were you not deceived last time? Do you not want to check out this place, whether it's dead or not?" A sticky shroud fell from the eyes of the bear and the wolf, and they turned their heads as if only woken up, and in one voice they exclaimed, "How right you are, Owl, you good spirit!" "It is like some kind of fog crept into my head," the wolf said with heavy exhaustion, "and I was completely intoxicated, and I forgot about the cunning evil spirits." "Yes, yes," added the bear spirit, and he nodded his shaggy head. "The same thing happened to me. Well, now let's think. If the wolf brought us here, then we'll use his amulet as well." He took off his amulet from his neck and threw it into the lake. And the fang, instead of hiding under the water and going to the bottom, floated on the surface of the lake like a light fuzz. "Ah," exclaimed the wolf spirit. "Look, my amulet does not sink into this water enchanted by evil spirits. Here is the evil power of dark demons." He took the spirit of the wolf out of the water and put it on his mighty strong neck. The spirits stood around and waited for the spirit of the owl to show them what next. "Where to now?" asked the bear. "Where does the divine power of the great sky call you?" The owl spirit blinked his yellow eyes and said, "But I do not want to go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere." "How?" asked the spirit of the wolf. "What should we do now? What should we do?" "I don't know," the owl spirit replied sadly. "The amulet!" exclaimed the spirit of the bear. "Your pen! Use it! It can help us!" The owl spirit took out his pen and let it go. The feather, picked up by the rush of air, flew like a bird, released by parents from its nest. At first it flew slowly and uncertainly, but then it rushed quickly and swiftly. The spirits followed the feather. The feather led them for several days to a secret place, and finally they found themselves in the midst of a very inconspicuous valley, where only thorns and saxawool grew sparingly. The feather fell to the ground. "Well," the spirit of the bear exclaimed, "we've found what we are looking for." "Wow! But wait," said the wise spirit of the owl. "Let's first check if it's good or not. I'll tear my feather out of the wing, and if it goes up and falls in the same spot where the feather dropped, then we found it." So the owl spirit did just that. The feather rushed upward, circled for a long time, and then slowly sank to the same place where the feather lay. "Now we can stand around and fold our wards to the place indicated by the feather." And so the spirits did. They put the bear claw, the wolf fang, and the feather together, and only they then began to offer their prayers to the omnipotent sky, and the blue sky opened, and the stars, as if hail, fell from the sky, and the earth trembled and went staggering. Hidden from the dark forces, the bright light escaped from the depths of the earth, turning out its thickness and cumbersome majestic mountains that were born from their interior. The light of the divine love and good flowed all over the sky and blinded the spirits, standing in torpor for a moment. Then, as the ancient legend tells us, the amazing and great mountains of the Ulytau appeared. In the history of the nomads of Eurasia, the Ulytau Mountains, or the Great Mountains, are always taking a special position, because it was always believed that these sacred places were the center of nomadic civilization. This is the land of legends and places of worship, the center for mausoleums, rock paintings, caves, and ancient sites. It is striking that there are more than 700 registered historical cultural monuments in the territory of Ulytau. The Ulytau Mountains themselves are also in the center of Kazakhstan. They are historical, cultural, and a natural reserve museum, the largest on the territory of the Republic.